student and spectator passes are available, starting at $5. If you played in these tournaments, you've already seen it. But folks, that's then. This is now. You want to learn? You look at these two individuals right here, Beast and Why Do Bad Things Happen to Good People. Welcome to Grand Finals here at DNA.EXE to Pokemon Stadium we go for game number 1.
All right, and the switch back to the signature Guy Fieri meet Brawler shows that we're probably going to have a repeat of winners finals, and the tenacity of both these players showing in full force. Stu, I feel like one way or the other, you're going to have a bloody battle ahead of us.
Oh, going to be some big, heavy swings and jab locks into the smash attack. Not going to kill quite yet. Charizard weighing in, tipping the scales, in fact, but maybe not one of the heaviest characters in the game, but yeah, definitely reaches the heavy classification, does it not?
Most certainly. This is a character who's going to be sticking around for a while, as long as Beast stays on his toes for his survivability. And staying on their toes, in fact, is what Whitey's going to have to worry about, especially if he's forced to recover from high off the ledge. Ledge options kind of get limited when you have a player like Beast who's willing to just swing at anything and has excellent reaction time. And that's a skill in itself that is something to be feared, especially in these Wi-Fi tournaments, where if someone's able to account for how their reactions are going to be altered, all of a sudden, there's just wide open doors for that player that you can't normally account for.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to ask about that. Do you like the selection of Brawler over Gunner? Because you saw quite a bit of momentum being picked up by Bad Things there. And, I was expecting the spike. Turns out, just landing off of the stage and on the stage, and getting the kill that way is going to do just fine for Bad Things. But, yeah, I was kind of wondering, do you like the choice of Brawler over Gunner in this one?
I feel like it's more fitting for Waidu to play into his signature me compared to the Gunner that we saw work so well over in Losers Finals. And the reason is I feel like the tools are a bit more generalized and they're going to be more rewarding to the very different scenarios that Trainer can present. Also, as a whole, I feel like Brawler is going to have a better chance against fighting most of what Trainer has to offer, especially with Beast's penchants for sticking on Charizard. Whereas if he went Gunner, I feel like there'd be a lot of opportunities where he would struggle with slowing down Beast's approach and on the whole, like, struggling to build up that damage, because Kirby's limited movement options are really what allowed for Gunner to shine in that last set. And the fact that Kirby couldn't really do anything about the plethora of projectiles in his way to trying to get to Waidu. Here, Beast has plenty of options. And not just this creativity with one set of options, moving well with Ivysaur, Squirtle, and Charizard can invalidate a lot of the pressure that Me Gunner builds up. So with that all being said, I feel like Brawler was a safe choice and very well executed by Waidu as he manages to take game 1.
Calling out the errant up B yet again. Beast may be getting a little greedy, and that is what you do. If you're a Brawler, sometimes you got to counterpunch. And why do bad things happen to good people? They're going to have to win 6 games if they want to take this edition of DNA.EXE. But, well, you can knock that number down to 5 as they take game number 1 of this initial set.
I'd love to see it, Stu, but it's going to be a long road ahead, and Beast is not the kind of player to allow that to happen so easily. So as we move on into Game 2, I wouldn't be surprised to see if Beast sharpens a bit of his options moving ahead against Waidu. Just in general, being careful about when to use Fly to break out of sticky situations, where to swing, because we saw a lot of wayward back airs and forward airs end up spelling curtains for Beast, where he ate a lot of damage, or in general just had to live off stage. The run back to Stadium 2, though, I think is very smart because the stage as a whole, I think, does reward the movement options of Charizard better. It gives him a little bit more room to breathe, safer landings as a whole, and ledge play is a little bit less predictable. But it still, garners the notion that you have to mix up your options. If Beast isn't going to be willing to do that, he's still going to be eating a ton of damage from Waidu, as we already see him start with 105 and counting as we pass the 30-second mark.
It's also not quite as safe for
a 30-second mark. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's a race against the clock. I had no idea that Bad Things was a speed runner. They're really trying to get this reset in record time, and this Ivysaur simply combo food. However, not like Zard is going to fare that much better in that front, but definitely hits a little harder. Beast trying to slow things down and mix up Bad Things a little bit, but again, if you get caught in the air and if your recovery is not intact, that Mach Punch certainly seems to be waiting in the wings. No pun intended there. Sorry about that. For Zard. Waiting here. The recovery. Not going to get caught out just yet, and the up smash going to give himself just a little bit of space to recover, but bad things happening to that Zard. That Lizard is getting bruised and battered right now.
Yeah, right now this is just looking like a very clean game for Waidu, and I feel like one of the things that Beast was able to capitalize on the most from the previous set was how Waidu was swinging on shield. We saw a lot of options just sort of get bursted on from the up smash. Here, Waidu isn't giving Beast that opportunity. Either these multiple suplexes on shield, doing a fantastic job of punishing Beast's out of shield options, or the safety of Nair at its slightest hit, allowing Waidu to threaten shield without committing too heavily.
Oh my God.
And it's the flip kick that manages a very convincing 3-0 in this game too.
That is incredible. Bad Things taming one of the most fearsome characters in one of the most fearsome hands. Like, you just associate so many things with tri-state brackets, like WebJP with their Lucas, or I mean certainly JJA with their Kirby to a lesser extent, but some of the things that have been so dominant over the past couple of weeks, certainly Lights with that ZSS, while the Zard has been so firmly associated with Beast for quite some time, definitely predating Smash Ultimate even. But yeah, that flip kick definitely showing Beast their place in this particular matchup, and they're going to have to show us something else as we go back to Pokemon Stadium for game number 3, because they just got 3 stocked, and that looked convincing, Hangman.
Let's see what Beast is able to say about it, because right now he's on the verge of a very swift travel to a reset Grand Finals bracket. And Waidu does not show any signs of slowing down, regardless of the damage Beast managed to open up this game with. Waidu's already returning it and then some.
That Zard, like Beast in all too many tournament photos, getting caught with their mouth open as they are getting pummeled around. The Mach Punch yet again. You don't always have to be in the air to catch that, turns out, and Beast learning that the hard way, though the tail providing just enough reach, and certainly the wings on the down smash as well, giving Beast a tenuous but still a tangible advantage.
I like that little interaction, though. There was a lot of little things there that I think, if this set manages to travel on a bit longer, spell very well. The fact that Waidu is willing to stall with the Mach Punch, the fact that Beast had the presence of mind to wait for that, and the flip kick, and how well spaced his down smash was, recovering it, overall I think was a very good mark of both of these players. And seeing the adaptations from this point on, I think, is going to be very interesting.
Getting tilted, however, I mean just the up tilt, I mean, not actually mentally tilted, is Ivysaur. So that's never a great sign if you're just willing to tack on the damage like this. And this is very comfortable territory for any Mii Brawler to be in. If you're letting these hits get in on you, though, if you're Beast, I mean, how are you feeling about this? Because you are not a defensively minded player, and now you are 1 stock away from getting reset. I mean, how are you approaching this if you're Beast?
I can only assume that Beast is sitting here thinking that every one of these situations is just straight up whack, and his patience is slowly thinning. He's the kind of player where if one thing goes completely awry, he'll still be able to play well, but he's not going to let go of that one stupid thing that happened to him. And right now, Waidu is just serving up thing after thing, reason after reason for Beast to complain about. I think Waidu is playing this out phenomenally, both from a matchup perspective for the characters, as well as against the player. And I feel like at this point, the onus is on Beast to just sort of tighten himself up, recognize the gravity of the situation, and either say to himself, reverse 3-0 needs to start here, or I gotta get ready for a whole nother set with this guy.
I mean, Beast has been doing very well for himself, especially as of recent. Just last week, finishing second in Breakpoint 2, losing only to Rivers in Grand Finals and on the reset. Wound up making it Winner's Final. Wound up making it to Grands on winner's side in that tournament, too, eventually besting EV Doll in winners of that one. But yeah, in danger of being reset here again, though they do have it at a last stock situation. However, he's at last hit looking for the Flare Blitz, but it's shielded. But he got it that time, and is sent into disadvantages, bad things. This is actually a little troublesome here.
Yeah, this Zard is bleeding right now, and he's going to have to get himself stitched up out in the blast zone. Really good DI from Beast, keeping this Charizard alive as he continues to swing away with efforts on taking this into a Game 4. But Waidu won't be having any of it. Soaring Axe Kick means we have a reset Grand Finals, Stu. A very strong 3-0 performance as we see both combatants now on the loser's side.
The Axe Kick, the axe falling heavy upon the neck of Zard, and that is a tough way to go out. However, last hit situation, you saw the splash screen come up. That's how close it was, and I gotta figure, if you find a way to not be at 169% at ledge of Pokemon Stadium, maybe you have yourself a bit more of a tenable situation. But if you're Beast, you got something out of that game number 3. Okay, yeah, you lost the set 3-0. Yes, they reset the bracket, but maybe you have yourself a path to victory. And it does come down to how well you employ your defensive options and how well you move in the air in the disadvantaged state, and not letting bad things take advantage of that so thoroughly as they did throughout that. Because let's face it, in the air, that Zard and occasionally that Ivy, they got punched around from pillar to post. There's no two ways about that, Hangman. But I get the feeling if you find a way to kind of cut down on that, if you have that, you are in a position where you can go up 2-0, and it looks nigh upon impossible for anyone to do anything about that.
Yeah, the situation's certainly daunting, but it's not impossible for Beast to take this back. Quite the contrary, in fact. And I feel it's just a matter of Beast, like, re-psyching himself up for the set and just recognizing the situation, because there was a lot of points during especially that Game 3 where both players were just cognizant of when to swing and what to swing with, really. There wasn't a very heavy combo game. Rather, it was just, smart checks and stage control. And Trainer's a phenomenal character for asserting stage control, finding it, stealing it away, wrestling it back from the ledge, and fighting to center stage. Like, all 3 components of Pokemon Trainer can do that. It's just a matter of, picking and choosing when to get at it. And Beast knows his character. This isn't the first time he's fought Waidu. He's very familiar with what Waidu's capable of. It's just a matter of him, taking a deep breath and just getting into it. Because if he starts swinging recklessly, and he's not choosing the right buttons to swing with, then Waidu's just going to continue steamrolling him. Because right now, a 3-0 performance is nothing to laugh at when you're on the verge of getting straight 6-0. Because there's a non-zero chance that we see a 6-0 victory from Waidu at the end of tonight, DNA.EXE.
And that's another thing, Hangman. That's kind of what shocks me the most, is really the 3-0 result coming out in favor of Waidu. Bad things happen to good people, because as I mentioned before, this is their first bracket in quite some time. Really their second bracket back on the Wi-Fi playing scene, as it's a whole new ballgame now. Certainly has been playing the game, Hangman, but their first tournament back, I should say. But here they go, coming in and beating a Wi-Fi Warrior ranked player in No Pause Tournament's very own ace, Beast. But this is not something that I would have considered to be a possibility, the 3-0. And I know that Bad Things is a great player, Hangman. I don't think anyone is disputing that. Certainly not me! But the dare picking them up and dumping them down so authoritatively, and such a thorough thrashing in the first set, I'm not really sure what to make of that.
I think it's just a matter that Waidu came here with a reason. He entered this bracket knowing exactly what he wanted to show. Didn't matter if he hasn't been as active as Beast. Doesn't matter if he's been as consistent as Beast. He just wanted to prove that he was the best. And he's just so happened to get in his way tonight for it. But right now, Waidu is performing phenomenally, and Beast catching right back up. And I still have a good amount of hope that Beast is going to be able to pick this up. I don't think the 6-0 performance is going to happen, but That's me just putting a lot of tips to who's able to just sort of swing back that momentum from the corner as he's done in the past.
So I'm kind of curious as to your opinion on this. What's the biggest difference that you've seen from Winners Final, which was a 3-1 victory for Beast, towards to that 3-0 that we're seeing that we saw play out in front of our very eyes?
Well, namely, the first thing that comes to mind is the stage, of course, where in Winners Finals we saw plenty of action on small battlefield. I think the pick here into Pokemon Stadium 2 as a whole, I think, is smarter for Waidu, only because he seems to be a lot more comfortable with controlling the ledge here with Stadium's placement of its platforms, where it's not super different, and in general the layout is fairly similar. But the key differences, I think, are what really matters.
The thing is we saw games 3 and 4, I believe, in Winners Final on Pokemon Stadium, and Beast won them both. Now, okay, yeah, maybe Beast is getting the download a little bit on Bad Things, but in games 1 and 2 in Grand, it wasn't close. One of them was pretty darn decisive, in fact.
I think it was also just a matter of Waidu, like, properly preparing himself and maybe even just having a little bit of wind beneath his wings, because coming off of a really strong performance in Losers Finals, Waidu came into the Grand Finals swinging. It wasn't completely out of expectations to see him perform well and reset Grand Finals, but to see him perform so well and to reset bracket so quickly, I think that's what's catching both of us off guard, Stu, because we got to this point pretty quick.
Yeah, and saw that Beast committed to the button, decides to jump out of the way. It's going to be a back throw to get themselves advantage. But how they finish this off, it's not going to be easy. Perhaps Beast trying to bait out down tilt or something by hanging on to the ledge. But they are taking their sweet time at ledge, and it makes you wonder when Bad Things is going to try to take advantage of that.
There's plenty of options for him to do so, but I feel like Beast needs less of those opportunities to make things turn like heads up very quickly, especially considering the percentages that are growing on board. Like, Waidu isn't particularly healthy at this point, but we've seen Beast work miracles with this amount of rage.
Yeah, sitting at 139. Bad Things in a very dangerous spot here. That Nair is going to be good, but only for so long. You're just helping him build rage. The Beast, when they get angry, that is when bad things really start happening. But the double Flare Blitz going to find themselves under the stage, and a wouldn't call it a pineapple, but certainly going to sting like citrus. And that is the flavor that they're going to enjoy.
Using a jump to try and get the Flare Blitz call.
Yeah.
And then the second Flare Blitz, like, I don't know. I feel like it was uncharacteristically greedy of Beast. Like, he's known for going for it all if the opportunity's there, but I feel like he was really fishing for it. And don't get me wrong, the gravity of the situation definitely calls for those kind of maneuvers, but I feel like the situation just wasn't present for him, and he just sort of threw away that game.
Yeah, that's a tough one, especially with... Okay, good on... Yeah, because you Flare Blitz yourself off of the stage, and I understand, like, me Brawler's aerials are nothing with which to be trifled, but at the same time, I don't know, you threw yourself off of the stage and then got yourself out of contention, basically. That's... Is Bad Things really in their head that much? I don't know.
He's seeming like he's chilling at this point. Like, Waidu was just playing with the same consistency that we've seen him since he returned to stream, and I don't want to call it too early to disrespect Beast, but it seems like he's playing like he's running out of steam, and I don't blame him. Like, it took him a bit of effort to get to this point. Like, Waidu is not an easy opponent to beat, and to see Waidu come in with such vigor is just, I don't know, it's a daunting task to be able to take this all the way back against him. We see Game 2 bringing this right on back to Stadium 2, and I'm trying to figure out if maybe Beast wants a change of scenery to try to change things up, because this is looking like it's just as rough of a start as the previous games have been.
Yeah, it's been a rough go thus far. Beast taking out people like All-8 Badges and J-Ja, and indeed Bad Things in Winners Final before this one. So they've taken on some quality competition thus far and come out on top. That forward throw is going to give Beast the tenuous advantage, sitting at 117. But again, if you don't get caught by any big things, this is just bad things building up rage and maybe giving Beast an opportunity to get back into this thing. However, bad things does not leave food on the plate for long. Finishes up that first stock. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Says the Lord of Flavortown.
And while Beast finds himself in a situation where Ivysaur is the present character, he's just taking little hits here at center stage. And I've always found this interesting about how willing he is to switch to Charizard immediately, as opposed to picking good options for switching into Charizard, because he's immediately taking quite a lot of damage and gotten pushed out to the ledge fairly easily. He hasn't lost the stock for it yet, but I feel like Waidu's doing a really good job of finding these situations where Beast wants to get himself back into his comfort zone and just takes lots of damage or loses a lot of stage control for it.
Yeah, and that's a lot getting thrown out there by bad things in terms of threatening Beast's aerial space. And yeah, for a Zard, you really don't want to be using your wings all that much, I feel like, when Guy Fieri is throwing kicks out like that. However, is going to go up one stock right here. And yeah, it's at least a manageable situation.
Until the fists start flying, the Mach Punch coming right back in, evening up the stock count. And all of a sudden, I feel like this situation is once again like Beast is just going to be taking a lot of hits from here. He needs to do something fast, but meanwhile, Waidu's out here just comboing him left and right and almost stealing the stock for it.
It's a rough go thus far, but maybe, just maybe, you're going
like
to...
Beast isn't out of it just yet, but he really did just take 137 for like one bad option. He made one mistake, and he had all of this damage visited upon him.
Looking for that tilt. Not finding its mark. Trying to catch bad things at ledge. And been playing just a little too smart to get caught by that. I do respect the effort, but I don't know. Something tells me it's even, but you're seeing a much more cautious Beast than we were in Winners Final. I'll say that. Oh my!
Cautious, but not perfectly protected.
Get. Sorry.
It's just another. It's a back air finding its way. It's like you highlighted the cautious play, which is very visible in Beast's shift in play. But he's still just making rash decisions now, and Waidu is picking him off for it. And it's like Beast has tightened up his play. He's done really well, but the little mistakes that he's made were so glaring that Waidu was able to capitalize on them so fully that coming into Game 3 of the Reset Grand Finals, I don't know what we have ahead of us, Stu. I didn't want to see the 6-0, but I think we got the 6-0.
The little things, that's what you're talking about, though. The little things have been repeated so consistently, Hangman, that why do bad things happen to good people? I mean, that's a question that Beast is going to have to ask themselves for real. But yeah, the dude's been catching them and has had ample opportunity to catch them. And that's an unfortunate thing for Beast, because we know just how good the guy can be. And we are going back to Pokemon Stadium, and we were talking about how easy it might be to land on this stage. We were talking about that in game number 1. Well, I mean, it seems like this Zard has been... Ooh, okay. Actually, it seems like the Zard has been called out in their landings quite a bit. But you know what? Bad Things getting caught for their landings as well, and has been made to pay for it, taking that stock number 1.
Yeah, Waidu is not impervious to the same mistakes. Beast is just as vigilant of a player, where if he sees an opportunity to swing with no recourse, he's going to do it. He's going to sink those fangs into his target. The rare Beast Squirtle in neutral?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I might as well, if you're able to get some damage on the Bad Things, maybe doubt the game plan just a little bit. And I'm not saying that throwing the knuckler works every time, but when they do, they don't expect it. So there's something to be said about it.
I mean, hey,
unfortunately.
it worked out, but it's just look at the damage. I don't really got nothing else to say about it. Oh, but that wayward Mach Punch might spell disaster. Beast tries to find this opportunity to punish Waidu. Do something with this damage he's managed to build up.
I feel like you're showing it just a little bit too much. I understand that you want to make Beast wary of it, but then there's like, at what point do you render it ineffective? You know what I mean?
I mean, Waidu's been doing really good at only really using in those situations where it's willing to kill. Oh, and a strong call out from him there, too.
Yeah.
Like, I think Beast is at the point where he's aware of Waidu's tricks and what moves to watch out for. It's just a matter of him putting himself in those positions where they're a problem. And I think he's just not aware of when he's doing that to himself right now.
And that's unfortunate because this is a last stock situation. If there were ever a time to wake up, it's certainly now. But you're getting caught in the grab. Good confirmed there by Bad Things, catching this big body of Zards all too consistently for Beast Lycan, and this could be it if they are not careful. However, Beast is able to exit the skies, but up to death percentage, and one Mach Punch off of an errant jump is going to do it here, Hangman.
One hit could really spell the end of this set, and it's just a matter of Waidu finding his connecting hit for Mach Punch, even back air. I think even at the ledge here, the upbeat has the capability of killing.
That's
Well,
it.
how about that?
Yeah, the axe
Soaring
kick.
axe kick.
Oh, man. The axe falls upon the head of Zard yet again. And why do bad things happen to good people? Call them what you want. Certainly, we've been doing that this entire set. But Hangman, you have to call him one thing. DNA.EXE champion.
Very strong showing from him getting to this point, with Beast being the only player to put him anywhere in bracket besides winners, and only able to do that once. Very strong performance here with a 6-0, where really it only looked like there was one game where Beast started to have his number, but he just wasn't able to keep up as Waidu outran him, completely redlined all of that momentum, and sealed a very strong victory for himself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not like Beast wasn't adjusting at all. We saw, in fact, it was very methodically paced set for a 3-0. It's not like Bad Things was running away with it by any stretch of the imagination. We, in fact, saw Beast get out to those leads, but every time they did, it was always Bad Things keeping it close. You know, maybe taking that next stock with only 25-30% on the board on their side. It was never a runaway for either side, and it always seemed to be Bad Things keeping it close enough to maybe just eke it out at the end. It's not like they were just completely blowing out Beast in that last set. They were always just kind of moving it along, pushing the objective, and eventually achieving their win condition. But at the end of the day, it just goes to show the mental fortitude that it takes to do that. Because if you can go punch for punch with Beast, you have proven yourself to be a pretty damn good player.
That's how it goes. With Waidu being tonight's champion, that spells it for us tonight. This has been a very entertaining night, and I'm glad to be back on the mic here for DNA alongside you still.
No, the pleasure is all mine. I mean, this man, Hangman, has forgotten more about Smash than I'll ever know, so please follow them on Twitter at Hangman12. That's 12 in Roman numerals. I'm just going to throw that out there. Crystallodian Production has been a warrior this entire night. For the love of whatever you find holy and sacred, follow them on Twitter at Crystallodian. Chris, please put your at on the screen next time because you deserve to have some credit put to your name because they've been going through hell in production this entire night. This has also been brought to you by the United E-League Federation, UEF.GG, for more info on that. And we certainly can't wait to join you Friday as we help run production for Champions for Charity. That's going to be on Facebook Gaming, so spanning all sorts of platforms here this weekend, and that's a $1,000 prize pool, and is powered by Facebook Gaming, and of course our good friends at HitPoint helping out for that, all to benefit Games for Love. So yeah, once again, that's going to do it for us. The final score, a 6-0, the grand finals through to the reset. Why do Bad Things happen to good people? I'm not sure, but certainly good things happening to our good friend here tonight. Certainly at the expense of Beast, but there's always another day, and certainly that Zard looms large in the shadows. So that's going to do it from us, from all of us here at Master Hand Gaming. I'm Stu, the announcer, saying good night and happy smashing.